और जोर से जय हिंद। अभी जान नहीं आई आर्यन स्कूल वाली, बोलिए जय हिंद। ये हुई ना बात, कमाल है। Ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely privileged today that I have been invited, one of the finest institution in India, not only in India, I think in Asia and the world, Aryan School. And मेरा आज ये मन कर रहा था कि मैं भी यहाँ पे एडमिशन ले लूँ, लेकिन मेरी उम्र जो है मेरा साथ नहीं दे रही है, नहीं तो मैं यहाँ पे भी एडमिशन लेता और यहाँ का ज्ञान प्राप्त करता। Ladies and gentlemen, I have never felt so complex in my life as much as I felt complex today when I was distributing the award to these young children. Somebody was scoring 100%, 97%, 98%, swimming champion, dancing, and there was a one name called Anushka Sharma. I thought maybe Anushka Sharma is studying here. Then I was looking for Virat Kohli. Then I remembered there was a guy called Yuvraj who came. So I think that was, and then I am again feeling extremely dwarfed in the presence of the towering personality of India, not only in India, I think the global icon, Mr. Kabir Bedi, who is here behind you. And so these are the two serious factors which has crippled my efficiency to speak in front of you. But anyway, since it is my responsibility to speak to you, so I thought maybe I'll, and Mrs. Dasgupta gave me instructions straight away that you speak for a long time, so better you cut down your speech to 10 minutes to 15 minutes now. So, yeah? Okay, no. Because we have Mr. Kabir Bedi here, so we all want to hear him. As a matter of fact, he has recently authored one of the finest books, and which I was talking to him during the coronavirus time. He wrote that book, which is absolute honest confession of his life, and it is absolutely thrilling experience, which you will go through every word of honesty, every word of conviction. It is a motivational book in many sense. It's a classic example how a person has crafted his life to reach to this level of prominence, who acted in Hollywood. I think one of the rare actors who has acted with James Bond in Octopussy. He's an Italian star. I mean, God knows I can go on speaking, but I will be left with very little time for myself. Thank you, Sidney ji. Thank you, Vibhor. Thank you, Sugan. And thanks to my wife and my sister-in-law, Rosie, that I am here today in Dehradun, which I love most. I certainly feel like Dehradun belongs to me. And why I'm emotional today? I'm emotional today because the founder of this great institution was Mr. Sunny Gupta. Mr. Sunny Gupta was not only a friend, but he was a family to me. And he gave me always that respect and love. And I was lucky that when he was around, I attended a couple of Founders Day here. But now, this is a beautiful atrium. I'm surprised to see, I never came here before. Very impressive. Vibhor, you have done extremely good job, Cindy and Mrs. Dasgupta. I think it shows the team out here, the faculty out here, the students out here are the best in the world. No wonder we can see this expansion at the rocket speed in the school. And I'm really proud of the fact that you have invited me here for the program. Thank you. देखिए, मुझे एक शेर याद आ रहा है, मैं अकेला ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल, लोग साथ आते गए और काबा बनता चला गया। तो ये जो मंजिल है आपकी, ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। लाइफ में अगर आप गोल सेट करते हैं, देखिए आप लोगों की औसतन उम्र जो होगी, मैं समझता हूँ 12 से 15 साल। About 650 students are here. And what is the most important thing for you in life? That is the question you need to understand. What is the most important? Why are you studying here? Why? What you want to do in life? What is the purpose of your life? You know, the difference between animal and human being is the very thin line of education. Education differentiates between animal and human beings. They can be educated, but they can't reach to the level and the potential the brain, human mind possess is infinite. You know how many billion neurons are there in the mind? No science has been able to explain the complexity of the brain. The brain is gifted with the infinite possibilities to reach to the sky. वो कहते हैं ना, एक पत्थर उछाल के देखो, कौन कहता है आसमान में छेद नहीं हो सकता. So we surrender much before we start our lives. And we surrender because we are surrounded by so much of mental conditioning around us. There are people who will be discouraging you from doing anything. And what happens to you is that you do not achieve your full potentials of life. So I just want to share with you some of the real stories. And these are the real stories of people who have achieved in their lives in a very big way. Mahatma Gandhi, for example. Mahatma Gandhi came to India in 1950, and he basically took the pledge of liberating this country from the British. The total strength of the Britishers in India at that time was only 20,000, and they were ruling 40 crore Indians in this country. The reason that India had never been united in the sense it should be, and we must learn. And Mahatma Gandhi, at the age of 45, he was a barrister, he studied in London, and he changed his mind and he became one of the finest examples. Rabindranath Tagore gave him the title of Mahatma, and he transformed this country, he liberated us from the British yoke, he gave us the freedom. So Mahatma Gandhi can turn around at the age of 45. What was the turning point when he was thrown out of the railway compartment because Indians were not allowed to travel in the first class or the business class? So they were thrown, they were called Indians as dogs. And that particular humiliation changed the entire trajectory of Mahatma Gandhi, and which has brought today this freedom to us. So I think we have an example. I'll give you another example. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Kabir Bedi must be knowing about it, that he was 11-year-old guy and he saw a cover magazine where there was a photograph of Mr. World. He looked at it and he also saw some of the New York skyscrapers, ऊंची building, एक से एक खूबसूरत मंजर. वो इतना इंस्पायर हो गए, उन्होंने कहा मुझको भी मिस्टर वर्ल्ड बनना है. He took that inspiration from the magazine. He did not know English, and he went to US, he went to England, and he worked day in, day out. His regime was so cumbersome that you will be sweating listening to his regime, and he became Mr. World. Then he tried to get into the films, and you must have seen Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of the top actors in Hollywood. He learned the accent of English, he built up his muscles, he had to maintain his reputation as Mr. World, so you can imagine how many hours of workout, 6 hours of workout every day, non-stop, and that made Arnold Schwarzenegger. Then he wanted to delve into politics, and then people told him, no, you cannot become governor. Somebody said you should become the president of the United States. He said, but there is a legal handicap that in the United States he cannot, unless you are a naturalized citizen of the country, you cannot become the president, but you can become the governor. And he became the governor of California. So you can imagine the guy drew his inspiration from a magazine and reached to the top level of becoming one of the global stars like we have Kabir Bedi here. Then Oscar Pistorius. You know Oscar Pistorius is called double amputee. Double amputee means he did not have legs, so he had an artificial leg, and he decided to take Olympics in a non-disabled category. You can imagine, he did not go into the disabled category. He went into the normal runners and he won the Olympics, and that is the power of conviction, courage, determination, vision. Unless you have all these areas, you can really make anything impossible into possible. If you analyze the word impossible, impossible includes I am possible. If you analyze the spelling actually, it is I am possible. मैं क्या नहीं कर सकता, आप लोग क्या नहीं कर सकते. आपको एक और एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ तेंदुलकर का. तेंदुलकर had actually gone to become a bowler, and I think it was Dennis Lilly who suggested him no. He wanted to be a pace bowler. He said, no, you are good in cricket, you are good in batting. So he changed his trajectory from bowling to batting. You know, there are a number of philosophies which we'll talk about, that like you have a Jean-Paul Sartre who talked about existentialism, you have Albert Camus, you have Friedrich Nietzsche who talked about that essence precedes your personality. And when I mean to say essence precedes your personality, I mean to say that every person has got an essence. Every person has got a specific essence. For example, a fish can swim in the water but cannot fly. So if a swim starts aping to start flying like a bird, what will happen? It will die. And similarly, the bird cannot swim the way fish can swim. So we have to identify what is our core strength of life. We can be pushed into any directions. You know, 90% of employees in the world are not satisfied with the work because they have been pushed into the traditional trajectories of अर्निंग मनी. सुबह होती है, शाम होती है, उम्र यूं ही तमाम होती है. तो ये जो एक जिंदगी का ढर्रा है, और कुछ लोग ऐसे भी कहते हैं किस किस को याद कीजिए, किस किस को रोइए, आराम बड़ी चीज है, मुंह ढक के सोइए. तो आपके पास दो ही ऑप्शंस हैं. वो कहते हैं कि ऑल द गुड थिंग्स इन लाइफ आर इलीगल, इमोरल और फैटी. So these are the distractions which you have to grapple with all the time. But in case you want to really touch the height, you need to cut off this distraction. The concentration has to be full. I'm sure I'm reminded of a dialogue from Shah Rukh Khan's film, which कहते हैं जब आप किसी चीज को शिद्दत से प्यार करते हैं तो पूरी कायनात आपको उसको मिलवाने के लिए कमिटेड होती है. तो आपको अपना पैशन डिस्कवर करना है. Maybe in the beginning it's not remunerative. Maybe it is not so rewarding. But let me tell you, with my experience, if you have invested in the energy, which is your core competence. You can be a swimmer, you can be an artist, you can be an actor. We couldn't have Kabir Bedi if he had gone into IAS. He had all the capabilities. He studied in St. Stephen's, one of the premier institutions. And but he could have gone, but he decided to, he realized that I want to be an actor. And he became a playwright. Maybe he was not paid enough money. He did not come from a very rich, affluent background when he could afford to take the risk, but he took the risk. I was selected for a number of competitive exams, but I decided to drop few of them because they were not gelling into my temperament. For example, I was selected for IMA, but I did not join. I'm not saying IMA is a bad place to work. It's a damn good place. I personally feel everybody should go through conscription, 2 years army training program. It makes you a perfect gentleman. But somehow, I revolted and I decided to follow a different trajectory of life. So, you know, you all have to understand what you want from life. And that is the most important. So fixing up the goal is the most important thing for you. Then I'll give you an example of Mike Tyson. You know, Mike Tyson was so powerful. You must have heard the name of Mike Tyson. That if he blows the buffalo's ribs, he can take that. He was so powerful, never lost. But there was one guy called James Douglas who took pledge from his mother that I will defeat Mike Tyson. Very unknown name, dark horse, nobody knew. He was not a pedigree boxer, and he took the challenge with almighty Mike Tyson and blew him out. When somebody asked him, what was the inspiration for you to do this? He said, I took the pledge from my mother that I will beat Mike Tyson. And people used to sweat before listening to the name of Mike Tyson. But his mother passed away. After 2 weeks of his mother passed away, he knocked out Mike Tyson. Jim Carrey, you must have heard about Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was so confident. You know, there is the art of visualization. If you guys understand the art of visualization means, you see through. You see through the infinite possibilities. Maybe, for example, you see today that I want to become the best sports person. I want to become best author. I want to become best cricketer. I want to become even the Prime Minister of India. If Chaiwala, if Narendra Modi ji can become the Prime Minister of India from a Chaiwala, can you imagine if you think like this, if anyone if you think like this, they will all laugh at you. But you may be having a potential to become Prime Minister or President of India, or maybe one of the top guys in the world. But people around you, the toxicity which you inhale. I was actually, when giving away the award, there was one girl who got 100% in environmental studies. And I was so touched. I said, but look at the way environment is going to. In Delhi, environment has touched 909 ambient quality index. Means they don't have a parameter to go beyond 999. So maybe the pollution is much higher. So 30 cigarettes in an hour we are smoking in Delhi, in the capital of India. So if we are reading about environment and if we are not doing anything for it, we are doing on the contrary, as a matter of fact, deforestation, we are not putting the plants around, development has ruined the environment. Bhutan, for example, believes in National Happiness Index. We believe in GDP, but they believe in National Happiness Index means how clean the environment is. Government can change if they have not followed the regulations of the climate, and government can be thrown out, not because of the economic performance, but because of the climatic performance. So we need to grow this consciousness. Then I'll give you Mark Spitz, who won in 72 9 gold medals. That guy was defeated by Michael Phelps. And somebody, when he won 9 gold medals, there was a press reporter, he made a speaking reference कि अरे भाई बड़ा लकी है मार्क स्पिट्स कि इसको 9 gold medal मिल गए, बहुत लकी. He heard that comment. He called me. He said, come here. He said, आपको पता है ये गोल्ड मेडल मुझे कैसे मिला है? मैंने पिछले कई सालों से रोज 10 घंटे without even a second here and there, I have practiced in the water. I have remained in the water for many years, and by splits of second, he won the gold in the Olympics. So, it is, people say that, oh my goodness, is very lucky. There's no luck. There is no luck. I'll tell you example. The universe. Can I talk for 5 minutes? Universe remains unexamined 97%. You know that? We have not been able to examine universe. No periscope, no telescope has been able to penetrate those interstellar dark ashes. We are only driving our knowledge based on 3% of that too scanty knowledge of the universe. Universe is so huge. So I tell people, my wife will be upset with me because she believes in astrology, in numerologists. But I tell people, don't become fatalist. आपको पंडित ने बताया कि बच्चे जाओ, तुम जो है मैथमेटिक्स इंजीनियरिंग करोगे और आपको घुस गया उस चक्कर में, आपके फादर कैपिटेशन फी का अरेंजमेंट कर रहे हैं, कहाँ से लेके आऊँ, बच्चे को इंजीनियरिंग बनना है, तो आपका विवाह उससे 36 गुण मिलते हैं. आपने विवाह एक ऐसे व्यक्ति से कर लिया जिसके साथ आपका एक भी गुण नहीं मिलता, क्योंकि पंडित ने कहा है कि आपके 36 गुण मिलते हैं, तो आप वहाँ विवाह कर बैठते हैं. तो आप अपने जीवन को किसी दूसरे पर डाल करके आप अपने से पल्ला झाड़ते हैं. इट्स कॉल्ड पलायनवाद, एस्केपिज्म. तो यू वांट टू एस्केप फ्रॉम दी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज एंड यू वांट टू टेक द सहारा. अल्टीमेटली व्हाट विल यू टेल पीपल? भाई मैं तो क्या करूं, मेरे तो पेरेंट्स ने कहा था तो मुझे करनी पड़ी शादी, मेरे तो मम्मी ने कहा था तो मुझे करनी पड़ी शादी. तो आप जो है ना ये एक्सक्यूज ढूंढ करके, एग्जाम का भी यही हाल है. आप कहते हैं मैं क्या करता, रात को लाइट ही चली गई थी. There was a time when there was no electricity at all. We always studied in that environment where electricity used to be out for many years. So, giving you another example of Messi, that footballer, he was born with the lack of deficiency, chronic deficiency of growth hormones. And he wanted to play football. He was a very good footballer. But then people saw him that his growth is stifled, he's not growing much. So they called him and I said, आप खेल नहीं सकते. तो बहुत दुखी हुआ. And he was taking 1 injection every day of the growth hormones, and you can imagine what level he achieved as a footballer. So these are the examples which you guys need to read. How people have reached to different level altogether with so much of handicap. I'll give you another example, which is so interesting, so interesting. Have you heard the name of Nick Ujic? Anyone has heard the name of Nick Ujic? James Nick Ujic? No. And this is where the problem is. We don't read to what level people have done. This guy was suffering from Terra Amelia syndrome. Terra Amelia syndrome is what? When you don't have both the limbs, you don't have legs. He doesn't have legs. He has got a pigeon kind of a toes, very small. He's a dwarf and he doesn't have hands. You know what he does today? He plays golf. He swims. He has won many championships. He's a motivational speaker. He's evangelist. He is doing so much of things. Read about this man. It will be absolutely hair-raising tale about a man with no hands, no legs, and he can reach to the height. So if he can reach to this height, what is your problem, guys? Tell me in India, how many international brands we have generated? Give me one example of one international brand. We are population of 140 crore. Our population strength, demography is 16% of the world population, which is more than 7 billion people. So 16% people of the world population, every third or fourth person is Indian. We have the Indians which are doing very well. There are 200 Indians worldwide who are doing the best positions in the world. You must have heard about, you name it. Indians have done very well, but we have not been able to create one international brand. I'll give you the example. IIM and IIT are considered to be the best in the world. But you know where does it stand in the ranking? 122nd. 122nd. Harvard, Kellogg, Carnegie Mellon, these are the universities, because there is a lot of applied research going on, fundamental research going on. Indians, I'm not criticizing Indians, I'm very proud of India today. We are going to be the third largest economy in the world. Already we are fifth largest economy. We have got the best of roads. Now I can come from Delhi to Dehradun in about 3 to 4 hours time. 15 flights from all over, from Delhi to Dehradun. So India is growing. But you know the history. In 1990, GDP of China and India was same. There was no difference. And China got its freedom a couple of years after we got the freedom in 1947. After the Cultural Revolution happened of Mao Zedong and all that stuff. But where is China's GDP today? They are 7 times more than India. So if China can grow, so we have to divulge the secret. What is the reason? The Chinese are not extraordinarily intelligent like Indians. Indians are very intelligent. Wherever they go, they may outshine everybody around them. But why India has not grown? So this is the area of research. We are today grappling with a number of complex challenges. Ukraine-Russian war, which has caused the food insecurity, which has caused the gas insecurity. The Europe is getting cold because the gas supply is reduced. We have recently witnessed how the Hamas has invaded Israel. It has impacted in alteration of the international political and economic order. So there are so many challenges. Students need to, just passing the exam or securing, I really salute all the children who are doing so well in life, but I think just passing the exam should not be your motto. Your motto should be that your knowledge should be applied in the national development, in your personal development, in your family development. We are not looking at your marks anymore. You know, life is like a play. Life is like a play. हम लोग प्ले की तरह देखते हैं, लेकिन ये लाइफ ऐसी होती है कि इसका आपको क्वेश्चन नहीं पता अगला कौन सा क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा. कोरोना वायरस किसी को पता था आएगा? How it has hit? But Mr. Kabir Bedi took the full advantage of coronavirus. He produced this lovely book, and you must read that. So some people have made use of it, and some people have made, they were fear, anxiety, all the time worrying about, hey, mujhe to nahi ho gaya. So jo hoga wo hoga, but you guys have to stand on your feet, take the challenge head on, and that is the only way you can make. So you